with this concept album, I'm curious how early in its conception were you like, this must be a multimedia endeavor?
Not early. I've been working in multimedia, writing music for film, television, games, for 20 years. 15 years at the time. This was about 5 years ago that I thought something's missing. I'm enjoying writing music for other people's stories, but there's some fundamental part of being an artist that I'm not exercising by definition, because you're giving me this amazing story. Like, it's like I'm skipping over in a way the scariest part, which is that blank page. So I started writing songs, and then I pulled in my brother, Brendan, who's an amazing lyricist and singer. He ends up singing about half the tracks on the record. And then we just started writing songs. Like, I'll just do them live. I just want to have fun doing a live concert. And then it just started to take on a bigger life, and I started sharing it with some of my friends in the rock and metal community. I started with Serge Tankian from System of a Down, because I thought, if this isn't good, he'll tell me, right? And if he says it's not good, I'm going to listen. He loved it. He wanted to sing on one of the songs. My friend Brendan Small from Death Clock and Metalocalypse. My friend Scott Ian from Anthrax. And everybody was really excited. And then I was like, I started then feeling confident enough to and I was really enjoying it. Ultimately, I was just really enjoying it. And collaborating with those folks was great. So then I started reaching out to people I don't know. And reached out to Rufus Wainwright, who I did not know at the time. And reached out to Slash, Corey Taylor from Slipknot, Kim Thale from Soundgarden, Joe Satriani. And everybody was like, yeah, I'll do that. That's great. I can hear that. And then when the record pieced together, I finally sort of stitched it together in a demo form with a lot of these singers and performers in place. And then I realized, like, oh man, it's my 20 years of scoring narrative. It's like, it's still there. I can't shake it. Like, narrative is how I approach music. And it's like, there's a shape here. Just in laying it out musically, it's like, there's a 3-act structure. There's just like there's something there. So I called Kyle Higgins and Matt Groom, who I knew socially, and I always admired their work in graphic novels. And I thought, hey, can we make a graphic novel? Can we make my album, which is accidentally a concept album, actually a concept album?
Yeah.
And that's how that started.
That's so fascinating. Nice. So how rewarding was it to kind of just like realizing you created like your own narrative instead of, like you said, like having to go off or
it was amazing.
Skipping that blank page?
Yeah.
Like, being able, you're like, I can do this. Like, this is something I've never done before, but it came naturally.
It was incredible. And I will admit, like, Matt came up with this pitch, and he was like, all right, great, let's do it. And I was like, no, hang on. We ended up taking a year just outlining it. Because his idea to address the fact that the singer changes every song, came up with this quantum leap-like structure where the protagonist jumps from universe to universe to universe, changing form, changing gender, changing species. But they remember themselves, and there's this accumulated trauma that starts to build up, and this mystery. There's other characters he sees, in particular this person with yellow eyes. He has blue eyes. He's generally a he, she's generally a she, although that swaps. It was a very clever idea, but I was like, okay, but I want to know what their dramatic tension is. So take out all the fun stuff. Take out all the dinosaurs, all the laser beams, all the Vikings, all the magic. It's gone. And I said, I want you to write a 3-person black box theater play. And if I'm not interested in if I'm not turning the page based on what these 3 characters are going through, what their relationships are, then we're doing it wrong. And when we get that right, you can add in all the fun genre stuff. Because I know that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. And it took a long time. And it took a long time not because it was difficult, but because it was so fun. Right? Because I was like, what if we did this? This is so great. At the same time, I'm also working on my first potential Broadway show. I'm doing musical theater. And it's the same thing where I'm working with the team there. It's called Particle Fever. It's about particle physics. It's very nerdy.
Okay, all right.
So it's about the discovery of the Higgs boson at the Large Hadron Collider at CERN. It's based on a documentary. But in both cases, I'm like, whoa, the composer is involved in the story. Like, this is so great, because most of the time I'm just given the story and I'm interpreting it, right? So I really enjoyed that, and Matt was so great on the Singularity. Matt was so great. We took the time to get it right, and then finished the graphic novel, brought in the artists like Ramon and everybody else, while the album was getting finished.
Cool. Okay, so that's 2 projects that have physics involved.
Yes. Yes.
Tell us about that. Like, what draws you to it?
I mean, it's funny because I met the producer of Particle Fever, this woman who got the rights to adapt this documentary into a musical, at lunch randomly. And I was saying, it's so funny I'd meet you, because I'm thinking about doing a concept album that is about astrophysics. At the time, I was going to do something more conceptual. That's why if you look at my record, Redshift, Event at the Horizon, Syzygy, there's a few other titles that are that was from when it was overtly about astrophysics. Overtly. And even the Singularity, Type 3, refers to that. And then it sort of morphed. But at the end of the meeting, she turned to her friend and was like, I think that's the guy to do Particle Fever. Even though I had never done a musical, she didn't know I had written musicals before, but I'd never done one on Broadway or anything. The book writer is David Henry Wong, who wrote M. Butterfly. He has Yellowface, I'm Going Tonight. And my co-writer is Zoe Sarnak, who's doing Empire Records and a bunch of other musicals. She's amazing. So the 3 of us got together and really cracked the code on how to turn this documentary about particle physics into a musical, which is, it's about all the scientists that come together and build the largest machine ever built by humans. So you can see, I'm working on that. I'm working on the Singularity. I'm bringing Slash and Corey Taylor, but I'm also doing Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, and Percy Jackson, and over the last, for the last couple of years, I've been so focused on the songwriting. It's been a little funny because no one knew until this year. I've been doing this for Particle Fever. I've been on 7 years. Wow. 7 years, and the Singularity I started 5 years ago. But it's only this year that I'm like, hey guys, I'm doing this stuff. So it's been fun. It's been really great.
Something I gotta ask, as a guitarist as well,
you're a better guitarist than me. I'll tell you already.
For the song "Escape from the Machines," it has a storied history, and I loved reading that story. By the way, that's incredible. This song has been following you, or you've been following this song for a long time.
Yeah.
Now that it's finally in a somewhat final form, perhaps.
I love that you're couching it. You can, you definitely read the story.
As you were seeing it through its iterations over the course of your life, when you heard Slash perform it in the studio, what did you feel clicked into place?
Well, the first thing I felt is I was apprehensive, because I thought, if Slash doesn't nail this, what does this mean, right? What's wrong with my brain that I can't find the right person to play this? But one of the things about the Singularity is that it's been an opportunity to reach out to people, not asking them to help me, because they don't need to do that. It's presenting them with something that they go, oh, I know how to do that. That is going to be fun and frames me in a way that's good, right? If I said to Rufus, do you want to do a death metal song? He'd say no. But I was like, do you want to do this song? And he heard it. And Slash heard that riff. I was texting with him, and I was like, because it was also funny. The other song we did, I go, there's a big improv solo. And it's all, you do your thing. But then he also played my lines very specifically. And I reached out to him and I said, Slash, I got to tell you, I want you to play the riff, but Joe Satriani's already done the solo. There's no place for you to you literally have to play my part. I don't want you to improvise anything. And he listened and he goes, I know, I got you. I know. He goes, I forget exactly what he said, but he's like, it's got to be real. But he goes, I get it. I get it. And I was like, okay, we're totally trusting each other here, But it was amazing when I first heard it. Honestly, I almost wanted to cry, right? That it was there it is, This lick came together, and it was the right person to play it, The funny story is that, I had Slash play this other song, The End of Tomorrow. The record was done. We were mastering it, and I was talking with my guitar teacher. I'm taking guitar lessons. And I was like, hey man, I'm waking up in the middle of the night. It's Escape from the Machines. I'm waking up in the middle of the night. Like I don't know that we have it. I've had 4 guitarists play the riff, and it's fine. But then I'd play him the one from high school that my buddy did, and it's like it's got something. And these other ones are just so precise. And I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I even said to him, I go, who should I ask? And he looked at me and he was almost like, hey, dumbass. He was like, well, you should have Slash do it. And I was like, it hadn't even occurred to me. And I was like, that's a great idea. And then I go, let me text him. And before my lesson was done, I go, Slash is going to do it. So there you go. Anyway, thank you guys. Really appreciate it. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your con.
Thank you. You too.